and get going with our class. I want to respect your commitment of time. Thank you for all of you that were on time. And we've got more people. I'm sure we'll have people joining throughout the evening. Anyway, so my name is Jessica Estrada, and I am based in Orlando, Florida. So I'm in the Sunshine State, nice and warm today. It was almost 90 degrees. So it was definitely a warm day. I am with the Orlando Lake Nona office, and it's near the airport, East Orlando area, but I cover the whole Orlando metro area. And I love that we've got people from all over the country. Make sure to take notes because this is a great opportunity for referrals. Today, we're going to be talking about lead generation, and one of the ways, one great way to lead generate is through referrals. And so make sure to take note of different people in the group. You can screenshot to get the names and be able to connect with other people around the country. So keep putting in the chat where you're from. Oh, Jeff, I will say hi to Debbie Irons for you. She's going to be in a video for me this weekend. Anyway, keep throwing in the chat where you're from. Just have a few more people coming in. Now, we are going to have a lot of people today on the Zoom. And so I know you guys just started last night. And so just want to remind you to please keep your cameras on. Also, if you have a question, raise your virtual hand. Feel free to use your reactions as well, so I know everybody's out there. And then please make sure to have your cameras on, and you can put stuff in the chat as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. Oops. Let me share my screen. All right, and so just while everybody else is coming in, whoops. Today, we're going to talk about generating your leads. A little background too on me. So I worked in the cruise ship industry for many years, and I sold apartments aboard a residential ship called the World, which was amazing. And I got to sell properties on a ship that was traveling all around the world. And then I came and joined Keller Williams in 2011 and have been selling properties here in the Orlando metro area. I was the I am also a luxury agent, and I'm originally from Mexico City. I learned English. I moved here when I was 4, learned English, and have been helping clients from all over the world. So I speak Spanish, French, German, and English fluently.
Wow.
So just a few languages. So if you have anybody looking to move to this area, I can certainly help them out. I do a lot of referral business as well. Any questions that you guys have, and I'm going to put my information in the chat as well later on, so that if you want to message me or if you have any questions, you can do that as well. All right. Let me just bring the chat up here. So I've got that. And we're still admitting some people in. So today we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics, generating leads. So when you guys think of lead generation, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Throw it in the chat. Let me see. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you see think of lead generation? Social media, opportunity, conversations, network, calling people in your database, family and friends, connections. You guys have some great answers in there. Networking, database, meeting people. Yeah, building a pipeline. Absolutely. And lead generation really is the core pillar of our business. And actually, when you think about it, lead generation is the number one thing that helps you to get business in real estate. And so what we're going to talk about today, we're going to go through that, and we're going to look at different ways to be able to lead generate. So I was just trying to give a few minutes to let everybody in. We still have people joining from all over. Right. So I'm just going to cover our disclosures. I know that they've covered this before, but just really quickly, here's a few disclosures that we'll have to go through. So first of all, make sure you follow any text and calling laws in your state. We do have people from all over the country here, so just make sure you're following all of the TCPA rules for federal and your local state, and make sure that you're not calling anyone that is on the do not call list. We want to make sure that these materials are informational and may change at any notice. So KWRI does not guarantee any accuracy. Any examples, exercises, and calculations are illustrations only. Um, Whoops, here we go. The no advice results aren't promised. Set your own goals. Don't rely on these models for investment decisions. Consult your own legal, financial, tax advisors. Commissions are negotiable. They're not set by law. They're fully negotiable. And co-op compensation, offers of compensation are optional. They must be discussed with your client and authorized in writing. KWRI doesn't direct these decisions. You must comply with all fair housing regulations. Commercial emails must include opting out. AI generated text can contain errors, so verify them independently. 2024 KWRI and licensors, you can't reproduce these materials without permission. And some excerpts from the various books, the MREA and the One Thing are also a part of this class. So just wanted to get through all the disclosures and housekeeping there for you. And also want to just remind everyone to stay muted unless you're speaking. If you are wanting to speak, please raise your hand if you have any questions, and I will do a question and answer session at the end. And yeah, so I'm excited to get started. So we're at 170 people so far. So excited to have you guys all with us today. So you had a great class yesterday. I was hoping for you guys to share some ahas or wins from yesterday. I did hear during your lead generation session, somebody was able to get a listing appointment, which is amazing. And so who else wants to raise their hand and share a win? Go ahead and raise your hand or come off mute and share a win if you had a win between yesterday and today class.
Hi, I'm Laura Keys. I'm in New Bern, North Carolina with Keller Williams. And yesterday, after I got off the meeting, I was able to talk with a friend of mine who's also my pastor. And now I'm helping her buy a house.
Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations. That's a great win. If everybody can throw in some reactions, throw some applause or hearts or rocket launches, let's share some love there. That's a great congratulations. Love that. All right, Tara, I see your hand, Tara Hughes. Your hand is up. You want to come off mute?
Yes, can you
Oh,
hear me?
yes, now we can hear you,
Can you hear
Tara.
me?
Yes,
Okay, sorry about that.
that's
So
okay.
yesterday they said that one thing we could do was say, what are your goals for the upcoming year and what are your needs? And, I like the idea of throwing out there like, hey, even if you're not looking to sell your house, if you need to fix your house up or if you have any issues. I have connections, and I found that that has been a lot more organic. So I started using that because I'm also in bold. So I have to have a lot of real estate conversations every week. And I'm really glad that we heard that because it's definitely helped. And I
That's
apologize for
awesome.
not having my camera on. I'm eating dinner.
That's all right. That's awesome. Well, thanks for sharing. And it is, anytime you come from contribution, if you think about, that the conversations are just, being human interactions and coming from contribution, and that builds relationship and trust. And then that will lead to business. So if you help other people get what they want, then you'll eventually get what you want. So that's awesome. Great share. Let's have one more share. Who else? Okay, Belinda, I see your hand up.
Hi, my name is Belinda Wright. I'm with KW Legacy out of Maryland. And today I was very intentional after our training yesterday. I went to a school that I currently graduated, and I have to book 2 appointments with 2 potential buyers and provide some information for someone that wants to become an agent.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a great share. And when you're doing your lead generation, you should look for what is the opportunity, right? So the opportunity might be somebody for your profit share. So it might be somebody that's looking to become an agent or have a career change. It could be a buyer, it could be a seller. So you gotta, when you're having the conversations, you want to look for where's the opportunity and how can you provide value. So I love that you might have somebody to add to your profit share, and that's great. Great. All right. So when we talk about lead generation, so today we're going to work on, we're going to talk about generating your leads, and we'll be growing your database. And so, there's all different ways to lead generate. So there's not just one set way. There's a lot of different ways, and we're going to talk about some of that today and go through those for you. And so we're going to go through the lead generator, the lead generation model. We're going to talk about your sphere of influence, expanding your sphere of influence, and best practices for lead generation. And then we'll go through some ahas. So a lot of great material to cover tonight. So we're going to start with lead generation. So Gary Keller said in the beginning, he said, my fear of failure was greater than my fear of lead generating. And so that caused him to get out there and look for business. And he used to say, you could pull out the phone book and just call through the phone book, for those of you that remember what a phone book was, and the yellow pages, and be able to call through and be able to find a lead, right? If you had to go out there and just talk to more people to be able to get the business. So with that, we're going to talk about the 6 core competencies of business. So lead generate, capture, and convert to appointments. So we're going to create a lead funnel. We're going to get the information so that we can stay in touch with everyone. And then we're going to convert them to appointments. And a lot of times it's going to take some follow-up. So generally, when you make that first call, you don't necessarily get the business. Now, I did see some of you in the chat were able to get replies back and be able to set appointments, which is amazing. And keep in mind that a lot of the business comes in the follow-up and the lead follow-up as well. Present to buyers and sellers to get an agreement is the next competency of the business. Show buyers and market sellers, write and negotiate contracts, coordinate the sale to closing, and manage the money. So these are the 6 competencies. But the first one and the most important is to lead generate so that you can get the leads and be able to get the business. Right. So there's lead generation spheres and myths. So some people think that lead generation is really difficult. Raise your hand or show a little emoji if you think that lead generation is really difficult. Yeah, let's see. Who thinks it's difficult? Okay, well, hopefully we're going to help you overcome that fear and make it easier. So I see quite a few hands going up where you think lead generation is difficult. All right, what about I don't have time to lead generate? Who can relate to that statement? Yep, I see a lot of hands coming up with that one. Okay, what about I don't know what to say? Raise your hand or set a little emoji. Raise your hand if you don't know what to say. Okay, I see quite a few coming in on that one. All right, and what about I'm afraid of making mistakes? Yep, I see somebody that has written that. So I know some of you are dual career on here, and so finding the time can be quite difficult. And then I know in the beginning you're not sure what to say, right? And so we're hopefully going to help you overcome that. And as you start getting more and more comfortable, it becomes easier. I think the first thing that you have to realize is, it's about just making connections and contacts. Like sometimes you could just call and just say, hi, how are you doing? And, as people start to get to know that you're in real estate, then it's just going to come up naturally in conversation, and you'll get better at asking, who do you know that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? But you don't have to make it too complicated. I think you want to look at it and think about it in a way as, just having conversation and getting into relationship with people and understanding the different times where somebody might be looking to move or sell a house, right? And so as you're talking to people, the first step, of course, if you're new in real estate, is to let everyone know that you are a real estate agent now, and that be able to share with them, that you have a new business and that you're willing to help them if they need to make a move. Now, I do see a couple hands raised. Jeanette, do you have a question? You can come off mute. Oh, Jeanette Bianco, did you have a question? Your hand is raised.
Yeah, I have trouble finding the mute button sometimes. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah. I don't know if it goes with when you say that finding the lead generation difficult. I sometimes I think I get myself in a position where I think I don't know anybody and I don't know how to go out and start conversations with people. And I've been in this area for almost 15, 20 years now, and I'm from the suburbs of Philly, and I keep on saying, but I have to get that sometimes.
Yeah, it's hard, but I challenge you to look at your phone. And if you have, I'm not sure how to do this on a Samsung, but if you have an iPhone, if you go to contacts and then you go to your contact list, it says all contacts, and you can see how many contacts you have in your phone, right? That's the first
Uh-huh.
place to start. A lot of people are afraid to call the people they already know because they think that they're new, they might not have the answer. But I would challenge you to say all of you are members of an awesome Keller Williams office, and there is a associate leadership council, there are mentors, there are coaches, there are experienced agents in your markets that would be willing to help you if you ask them if you got stuck. So it's about just going out and having conversations and becoming more comfortable with it. And I would say an easy conversation is to start off and let people know, hi, I'm just embarking on a new career in real estate. I have a great office, and I'm here to help you. Who do you know that might be thinking about buying or selling in 2026?
Oh,
Right?
okay.
That could be an easy conversation, or it could be something like, hi, hey, the holidays are coming up. I was just curious, what are your plans for the holidays? Let them talk about what they're doing for the holidays so you get to know them a little bit better. And then maybe tell them, I'm working on my plan for 2026, and I was just curious, who do you know that might be thinking about making a move in 2026?
Oh,
And
okay.
by asking, who do you know, it's a word that helps to trigger someone to think about who do they know that might be able to be looking to make a move, right? And so that's one way to lead generate and think about it. So I don't think you have to overcomplicate it. It's just about having conversations and making sure that people know that you're in the business of real estate and that you can help them buy and sell homes.
That's a good start. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
It
And
does. Now that you say it, it's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of times people make it out harder than it is, and you don't have to be perfect. You just need to work on a conversation and relationships. And sometimes you can ask questions like, what do you love about your house? Or if you could change anything about your current home, what would that be? What would that look like? And just come from curiosity, and eventually you'll start to uncover people that are looking to make a move for whatever reason.
Okay.
Um, does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I
Okay.
appreciate that.
Yeah. And I see a lot of you guys have questions. So I'm going to kind of try to go through the material. I'll answer a question here and there, and then I'll come back to do questions and answers at the end. So I just want to make sure we can cover all of the material. Does that make sense? And I see Candace wrote in here that she's having trouble balancing being a full-time employee and lead generating. And I think what you have to look at, Candace, and somebody else might be able to share some information as well. But I think that it's just having conversations with people, and it might be after you're off work or in the evenings or during the day, depending on what time you're working, being able to just set aside time. And we're going to talk about time blocking. Set aside time for lead generation. So it's just figuring out your schedule and how much time you can set aside for lead generation. And for those of you that are dual career, sometimes you might not be able to service a lead because of your other career, but you might be able to refer it out, or get some help to be able to set that up. And I would say, talk to your coaches, your productivity coaches and your market centers, and they might be able to help you structure a plan around that, and controlling your schedule. So hopefully, I just want to make it demystify a little bit, and help you feel more comfortable that lead generation is just about having conversations. It doesn't have to be very difficult. It's just about talking to people and coming from curiosity, so you can figure out who's looking to make a move and look for those that are motivated. So, for sometimes with lead generation is really difficult. Sometimes people are confusing effort with enjoyment. Lead generation is actually easy. It's just not fun. Some people say that. I think that you have to look at it a different way. You have to do your lead generation in ways that you enjoy. So I want you to think about one of the things I did when I first got in the business is I moved back to Florida, and I had been traveling for 20 years. So I moved back here, and I needed to start, reconnecting with people. So what I did is I set up a happy hour once a month for people that I went to college with, and got back into relationship with people from college. I did the same for friends that I went to high school with, because I grew up not too far from here. And so that was a way to get into relationship. And for me, I just loved going to happy hour and hanging out with my friends. And eventually I would talk about real estate. And, fast forward, I've had quite a few of my friends from college and from high school that have bought and sold houses from me. So it's just, doing things that you like. Or if you're a mom, maybe you start a mimosas and mom group. Or there's a lot of different ways to do it. If you love pickleball, you could, go out and play pickleball and work on lead generating through that. So lead generating doesn't have to be difficult. It can be, you can incorporate it into something that you already love doing, and then you're going to be more successful. Now, it can also be open houses. It can also be, calling for sale by owners, expires. There's a lot of different ways to lead generate. When they say I don't have time to lead generate, Gary said, I had an issue of making time to lead generate and protecting that time. And so for those of you that are dual career, it's figuring out when is a good time to lead generate. What does that look like for me, and scheduling that time and protecting it. So it might be sending messages on Facebook. It might be texting. It might be making phone calls. It's just figuring out what's going to work for you and when you can do it. There's no wrong or right way to do it. It's about what you're going to actually do, right? It's about what you're going to do and what you're going to say. So for, I don't know what to say, I had to get on the path of mastering the dialogue skills that are needed in the business. And I saw somebody mention in the chat earlier about exactly what to say for realtors by Phil Jones. That's a great book. That I highly recommend that book. He's got a lot of great ways to structure conversation that can help you in the business. So read and become a master at the dialogue skills needed in the business, and practice and role play. I suggest if you have others in your office, in your market center, if there's already a role play group, join that role play group. You can role play around the country. When I first started, I was role playing. I was doing conversations every day with somebody in a different state. So that helped me with referrals, and it helped me learn different conversations. It's about practicing it. If you imagine, like if you think of like a basketball athlete star, like Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan, they would practice all the time. Like they would be at practice like 3 or 4 times a day so they could get the skills needed. So I want you to think about your real estate career the same way. You've got to practice conversations so that you can get so good at it that you can't mess it up. So it just becomes natural. When I first got in the business, it was hard for me to say, who do you know that would be interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate? The more you say it, the easier it rolls off the tongue. And the easier it gets to be able to say it and remember. So that's, just learning those key phrases and then committing them to memory, if that makes sense. And then afraid of making mistakes. Lead generation is more than a set of tasks and skills that are well documented. So it's more about just figuring out what you want to do and then practicing it so that you can be good at it. Whether that's open houses for sale by owners, your database, other agents around the country. So that way you can work on developing those skills, if that makes sense. And so I want you guys in your participant guide just to jot down some ideas about lead generation. What are some things, what are some ways that you can think of, and you can put it in the chat as well. And you can role play with Chat GPT. Sorry, I just saw that message in the chat. So you just go to Chat GPT on voice mode, and you can role play with Chat GPT as well, or any of the AI. So you tell them to look at Gary Keller's The Millionaire Real Estate Agent or any of the books that are out there, exactly what to say, and ask it to be the seller or be the buyer or role play with you. So you can do that through ChatGPT. But I want you guys to throw in some ideas of what would you enjoy doing, or who are some people that you'd like to talk to or lead generate with. Kids' school activities and events, that's a good one. Let's see, what else? Throw some ideas in the chat. What are some ways that you can contact people? New people everywhere, grocery stores, furniture stores, line dancing, door knocking, church, festivals, dog park, church. Got some good ideas coming in, open houses, karaoke nights. Yeah, I think it's about looking at what it is that you like to do and how you can meet people and get into relationship and get to know them better. Sports clubs, next door, mom groups, alumni. Some good ideas in there. What else? What other ideas do you guys have? Golf range, a cookout with people you know, and yes, invite friends, tailgate, flight attendant, meet people at the airport. So there's a lot of different ways. Are you guys seeing a trend here? There's a lot of different ways that you can meet people, and everybody needs a place to live. It's not like we're selling something that people don't need. So everyone needs a place to live, and so by just getting into relationship, then you can work on developing that. Frequent stops, stores, salons, exactly. It's getting into relationship with everyone that you're seeing. So to give you an idea, my nail guy has bought and sold 3 houses from me. My hairdresser has bought a house from me. So it's just looking at how you can develop the relationship and ask, who do you know? My hairdresser has sent me quite a few referrals as well. So it's looking at being creative on how you can talk to more people. Farmers markets. I see somebody in the chat put that in there as well. Lots of great ideas coming thing. Postal person or trash guy. Events, weddings. So there's a lot of ways that you can incorporate. Whoops. Right, so we talked about the number of contacts in phone, right? So everybody knows how many contacts you have in your phone. I want you guys to do this exercise with me. So let's say the average person has 250 contacts in the phone. Go ahead and look at your phone, see how many contacts you have. And the potential closing opportunity from your contacts is the number of contacts times 0.081. So if you multiply that, you're going to get a number. So 250 gives you 20. Okay, I see somebody just put in 5,400, 800. Right, so that's how many closing opportunities from your contacts. Now, if you take A and multiply it by 0.10, that's how many referrals in your database. Now, if you add B plus C, right, you're going to get 45. Your typical commission fee, let's say it's 5,000. Remember, commissions are negotiable, they're not set. But let's just, for math purposes, say that it was 5,000. The income opportunity would be 225,000. So I want you guys to run through this calculation, and I want you to put in the chat what your number of contacts in your phone, what that income opportunity would be. Put it in dollar signs. What would that income opportunity look like? So you're going to do the contacts in your phone times 0.81 and then do it again times 0.10, add B and C, times it by 5,000. We'll just assume 5,000 is the commission and then see what you come up with. 50K, 450. Yep, you can do referrals overseas. I saw somebody was asking about contacts overseas. I've sent a referral to Canada and gotten paid a referral commission from Canada. I've done it with Mexico as well, so you can do it internationally. 4.5 million, 45,000. Now, I want you guys to think about, see these numbers coming up, 560, 7.5 million. Magali, that's awesome. Imagine if you look at how many friends you have on Facebook and do the same calculation. How many friends do you have on Instagram? How many friends on TikTok? Right? So you see how this can multiply and how much income opportunity there is. Right? I see 180,000. So you can look at your, there's a lot of different ways to look at this, but this is a calculation to look at what you have. Now, I want you to think about how many of these are actually in command already. And if they're not in command, one thing you can do is work on getting them in command. You can work on getting them into Facebook and social media. I see Adeline has 925,000. Tiara has 630,000. These are some big numbers, guys. So imagine if you just have conversations with all of these people in your phone where your business can be in the next 5 years, right? Gary says that we often underestimate where we can be we overestimate how far we can be in 1 year and we underestimate where we can be in 5 years. So as you start looking at these numbers, there's a lot of opportunity that you can work on being able to develop your business. And your database at the end of the day is your business. So your sphere of influence, everybody that's already in your phone, everybody that's on Facebook, everybody that's on Instagram, everybody that's at your second job, if you're dual career, all of those people should be in your database. So one thing that you can do for the next month while you're doing Ignite is you can work on getting everyone that's in your phone, your social media, at your workplace and putting them into your database, making sure that you have all the points of contact for them. So if you have their phone number, their email, and their home address, then you can start to communicate with them, right? And you can let them know you're now in real estate, and you can offer them a market update for their neighborhood so they can keep track of the value of their home. So you can then set them up on the neighborhood smart plan and command, and now you've got regular communication with those people. So, conversation could be just as easy as calling somebody up and saying, hey, Jeanette, this is Jessica. I just wanted to let you know I have a career in real estate now, and I would love to give you some information monthly, if that's okay, on the value of your home. Would that be okay? And she's probably going to say, yeah, I would love that. And then you make sure you have all of the points of contact, the phone number, the email, and the address, and set them up on a neighborhood search. So that's an easy way to lead generate. It's an easy conversation, especially as you're now getting into the business, where you can call and let people know and be able to do that. Karen Jackson, I see you have a raised hand. Do you want to come off mute and ask your question?
Yes, good evening. So I have some people that are in my database whom I had lost contact with. It can
Mhm.
be anywhere from a year to 5 to maybe even 10 years, maybe because I moved to another state or maybe I changed employment. So I have an idea how I would be able to reach out to those people, but I would like to hear from you or maybe somebody else. What would be, I don't want to say an ideal way, but what would be an example to reach out to someone who you knew, but maybe haven't spoken to from anywhere up to maybe 10 years?
Yeah, I think you could just call them and say, hey, Karen, I know we haven't spoken in a few years. I moved to X state and, I'm now in a career in real estate and just wanted to reconnect and see how you're doing and let her talk. Let them talk and see how they're doing, ask what they're up to, and just reconnect. Just say, I know we lost contact and I just wanted to reconnect. And after you've had a conversation, then you can say, I'm in real estate. I have a great network through Keller Williams all over the country. So I'd love to be a resource if you're ever looking to buy or sell a home. And, would it be okay if I sent you a monthly update on the value of your home? And then you can set them up on a monthly neighborhood search because Command, you can set up neighborhood searches all over the country. So I have a client that has a house in Canada. I set her up on a search for the house in Florida and the house in Canada. And when she was getting ready to sell the house in Canada, she reached out and said, hey, can you connect me with the agent that you know here in Canada so I can sell my house? And so I was able to connect her. So I think it's just coming from contribution. And at the end of the day, they haven't called you in 10 years either, right?
That is
So,
true.
yeah, so don't take it personally. I
No,
think
not
just
at
call
all.
and say, hey, it's been a while and I just wanted to reconnect and see how you're doing. You could also connect with them on social media first and kind of look a little bit at what's going on. That's another way to do it is through social media. But I would just reach out and call. It's a care call, and like somebody just put in the chat, and it's just you're just genuinely looking to reconnect and see how you can add value or help them.
Okay,
The
that's what I was
other
thinking of anyway. So, but yeah, thank you. But adding value.
Yeah,
Yeah.
adding value. And the other call, so this is the second call that I did. I would call people that I knew in other states and say, hey, I'm now starting my new business in real estate in Orlando. Who do you know that I should know in Orlando? Who can you introduce me to that lives in Orlando? I'm looking to build my vendor list. I'm looking to build my list of contacts here in Orlando. So who do you know that I should know? And so one of the people I called gave me my housekeeper, and she's been my housekeeper at my house since then. And I refer her out to all my clients. I had her get licensed and insured. And anytime somebody needs a house cleaning service or I need a move out clean, she's my go to person. And she came from a real estate agent, Laura, who's in Portland, that gave me her name. Right. So it's who do you know that I should know in whatever state you're in if you've just moved there?
That's a good one. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Give you some good ideas there. The app, I'm not sure if it works outside the US for command. I think that's a good question to double check. I know in some countries it does, but I'm not sure exactly how it works. All right. So what are some ahas from this section so far? What are some ahas that you guys have gotten so far? Eve Walker, I saw that you raised your hand. You want to come off mute?
Hi, how you doing?
Good, good.
So I just want to say that yeah, I had my own aha. So yesterday when we did that assignment, when I asked you what to send a text, so I have two phones. I have a personal phone and I have a real estate phone. And I think all the time that I take them both, I'm not going to say anything to them or I'm not going to send no messages. I'm not just having a monkey on my back thinking that they may think of like why they reaching out to me or whatever. So yesterday after the session was over with, or during the session right before it was over with, I went from my aides. I did all my aides yesterday, and I did not think about what they're going to think if I'm sending this message out. So but I did receive a lot of messages back. I received some messages back from two folks that I work with, who has retired, because I don't do business in my job. I'm trying to keep it separate. But if I'm really, really cool with the person, if they're leaving and if, coming to me and they turn their laptop in and I'm like, oh, by the way, I'm a realtor, here go my card. So I slide that in at the end. So I've built some relationships. So two people did reach out. Once they said, hey, I'm in Virginia Beach now. And I did use the Virginia license. I'm now Virginia, Maryland, DC. She said, I'm now in Virginia Beach. And I definitely let you know, if I know someone, I see you doing very well for yourself. And I had other few people reached out. So I'm like, wow. So my goal is doing Ignite. I'm going to go through my personal phone. Today, I'm going to start on B and I'm going to send a text to everybody. So every day, I'm going to be just having to go to just going through my personal phone to just send a text to everyone that I should have did like 5 years ago when I became a real estate agent. Then I'm going to go back to my business phone and anybody I have had business, I mean, I have help with real estate, I'm going to send the text messages out to them. Because on my business phone, I have real estate agents on my phone on business side where I don't want to mix sending them messages. So I just want to say, thank you for just saying do it. Don't think about anything and don't think about what they're going to say if you do it or not. So it was a great practice for me yesterday. And I'm
I love that.
share that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, at the end of the day, I think we overthink it. And, I think that there's a lot of people that are just happy that you're reaching out to them. And, they haven't reached out to you, and maybe they're feeling guilty for not reaching out to you in a long time, right? And
Mhm.
so you're just breaking the ice and reaching out to them. So that's a great testimonial and that's a great example. I love that. Let's see. Aaron, Britt, I see you raised your hand.
Yes, for me, the realization more than anything else is twofold. When yesterday we had to do the exercise of reaching out, and I realized just how many people were in my phone that needed to be converted to the database. It was ridiculous, over a thousand contacts, which I've been going through the last 2 days. But that combined with the amount of money that I'm missing by not staying in touch with my database was a huge aha moment for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's important, just to stay in touch in relationship because the potential is there, right? You've already got it, and I think you've got to think of it kind of like a seed that you've planted and you've got to water the seed until the
Right.
tree grows, right? Or the fruit comes out. So you just got to
Right.
keep watering it, and conversations are the way to water your database. So I love that. Pauline, I see you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the aha moment for me was yesterday, how she was talking about everything is mindset. And I feel like totally reaching out to people is everything is mindset. It's like the first thing we think is like, oh, I haven't talked to what am I gonna say? What am I gonna do? I don't want them to feel like I'm asking them because I need customers. And yesterday, actually, when she asked us to reach out to people, I have a friend who I haven't seen for like 10 years, as Karen was saying. And I just went through, I text them without knowing anything, knowing what is going on in your life. So I send them a message. I'm like, hey, I'm just reaching out to make sure everything is okay with you. I'm not living where I was living the city that I was in. I'm in this city now, but I hope we can catch up and have lunch later or something. And then she just replied back. She was like, well, what are you up to? And I just tell her, hey, I just got my real estate license. And she said, oh, that's amazing because, I know someone who is looking for a house right now. So we should plan to have a lunch with the person. And before I text the person, the thing that was going through my mind was like, oh my goodness, what am I going to tell this person? I almost didn't send message to her because I was like, I don't want to offend her. I don't want her to feel like I'm asking because I need help. I need something from her. But the moment it's like you have a positive mindset and then it just go through. And now like I have a lunch with a couple ladies who want to buy houses. I mean, couple ladies who want to buy house or invest in, housing. And I'm just grateful for it. And I just want to say that's, the aha moment for me. It's not being shy and go forward with it as long as I feel like you can never insult someone. Um, Hi, how are you doing? And then you can just take it up from there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about just starting the conversation, just saying, hello, how are you doing? And then let it go
Yeah.
from there and flow naturally. And, if you let them know you're in real estate, it's just going to naturally, because people are always curious about real estate. If they're always curious about the market, it's always going to go there. But if you just come from genuine care, it'll evolve into where you need it to go, right? So just caring about others and just saying hello, it's just starting it. We'll do one more. Eve Walker, I see that you've got your hand raised.
Oh, that was a mistake. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. All right, so we're going to go on. So now we're going to talk about the lead generation model. Now, of course, Keller Williams has a model for everything. So we have a model for lead generation and the relationships that you're creating. So as you're talking to people, right, you want to look at this lead generation model. The first step is to capture the lead. So that's when you're meeting someone through prospecting or marketing. If you're door knocking, you want to make sure you get the person's name and at least a phone number or email. Ideally, you get their phone number, email, and their property address, right? And then you put that into your database. Step two is really important. A lot of times, you might have post-it notes where you write stuff down, or if you get a call or a lead, or you meet somebody in an open house, you want to make sure that you're putting it into command, into your database. And that way you can take the leads, the people that you don't know, right? And you start to create a relationship. So you start to create the relationship with the lead, and then they become a contact. You strengthen that relationship, and then you keep cultivating the contacts for conversion to set appointments. And then you get either referrals from them or you get a new lead and you repeat the whole cycle. Does that make sense? So you've got a lead, you've got first the lead generation, the relationship management, and the client and referral loop. So does this visual kind of help you to see how this lead generation model works overall? So we're going to dig deeper a little bit. So here in the lead capture, prospecting and marketing, then you're going to be creating your database, right? So those are the activities that are lead generation activities that deliver leads into your business. Write in the chat, what are some ideas or suggestions that you have for lead generation activities that you can do? Prospecting and marketing, what are some activities? Put it in the chat. Open house. Yep, open house. That's a good one. That's definitely a good one. Social media posts, texting your contacts, hosting an event. For sale by owner, seminars, door knocking. So these are all great ways to get leads. So you want to make sure when you're doing any of these activities, right? Financial workshops, expireds, that you're capturing the lead and then you're putting it into your database, right? Once it goes into your database, you're going to be looking at different prospecting. So there's prospecting versus marketing. Prospecting is when you're actively doing something. So that's like holding an open house, door knocking, cold calling, all of those things are part of prospecting. Marketing is when you're sending out postcards, when you're farming, those type of things, right? Marketing is money intensive, it's passive, and it's long-term results. So if you're looking for the golden letter would be an example of passive. It would be marketing. So you're going to be spending money on obtaining the addresses or the paper and the stamps and all of that. So you've got marketing, and then prospecting is time intensive, it's proactive, and it's immediate results. So when you're starting out in the business, you want to focus, remember when you're lead generating, when you look at the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, you want to lead with revenue, right? So you want to start with the activities that are going to cost less. So that would be prospecting, and they're going to lead to quicker results. So open houses are people are already looking, they've raised their hand that they want to buy a house. You can also get seller leads at open houses. For sale by owners and expireds have raised their hands, so they're looking to sell. So those are more immediate business versus marketing, which costs more money and takes more time. Does that make sense? And so once you start to get these leads, right, I want you to think about each lead as you're getting it. You want to think about this lead could convert into business over time. And so you want to have your database. So it's a container that holds the information of your leads and contacts. It could be an Excel spreadsheet, it's command, it can be your phone. Basically, it's anywhere that you have your contacts and where you have the leads that you're moving them into become a contact. So a lead is someone that you've met that doesn't necessarily know who you are. A contact, once they're a contact, they know that you're in real estate, they know who you are. And then you've got to deepen that relationship with the contact. So a smart database or a data bank allows you to have planned and meaningful communication with your database. So we're going to talk a little bit deeper about that. I'm going to give you some more examples. So leads are people who have earned the right to at least have a one-way conversation with. Contacts are people that you can have a two-way conversation with and you've established a value-based relationship with. So I want you to think leads are the first step in the funnel and you're working to convert them into contacts so that they know who you are, they know that you're in real estate, and they might use you at some point. Does that make sense? Let's see some thumbs up. If you're good, tracking good. All right, any questions? Okay. So once you start building that relationship, they have to be attended to and cultivated. So kind of like that example that I was saying, that they're a seed, like a lead might be a seed that you've planted, and then you've got to water it until the fruit comes out. And so that's caring for and cultivating the relationship. So interactive. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, did somebody have a question? Or if not, can you go on mute? Okay, I think that was an accident. So does that make sense? So you want to look for ways to be able to move the leads through the funnel and create those relationships. And different types of communication. There's a phone call, email, text message, face-to-face, KW app. And you could do it through social media as well and handwritten communication. Which one of these do you think is the most powerful? Put it in the chat. What do you think is the most powerful of these different types of communication? What's the highest level? Face to face. Face to face. Face to face is the highest level of communication. I want you to imagine that you have a pyramid, and at the very top of the pyramid, it's face to face, one on one. And then the second, what would be the second highest? So if you're looking at a pyramid, if you imagine if all of these are in a pyramid, right? You've got face to face at the top of the pyramid. That's the most powerful. What's the next one? Phone call. That's right. Phone call. Because a lot of your communication is in body language and tonality. And so if you're face to face, you can see that. If you're on the phone, you can hear the tone. Sometimes you lose that when you go to email or text message, right? So those are the next ways: email, text message. And then handwritten communication. These days, sending a handwritten letter can have a huge impact. So one thing that I do after any listing appointment, I send a handwritten card thanking the seller for meeting with me. Whether or not I get the appointment, I send a handwritten card and a box of brownies. And that's just my signature that I do after each appointment, and it gets a very strong reaction. So it's just looking at little things like that that you can do to have a good impact. I'm not going to be able to pronounce your name. I think it's well, I don't know. Jones is the last name. You have your hand raised. Do you want to go ahead with the question?
Yes, it's a mommy. When we are doing stuff for advert, like maybe like a t-shirt, cards and all that, like what information, I know there's some information that are allowed and some that are not allowed. So like what information can go on it as far as contact information?
That's something you're gonna have to talk to your broker, because we've got people from all over the country and each state is different in your laws. So you'll need to ask the broker at your office, your team leader or your productivity coach, and they can tell you what the marketing regulations are, because they're going to be different from state to state. And unfortunately, I don't know every state's nuances. So check that with your broker. But you are correct that there are differences in things that you can put in there. So once you start doing that, your database is going to generate leads in the form of new, repeat, or referral business. So when you look at your database, as you start to work your database, as you start to communicate with it, as you start to ask people, who do you know that might be looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? They're going to tell you and give you names of people. I train my people to send me referrals in a group text. That way I can respond right away instead of just giving my information to someone. I ask them to start a group text. That way I can jump in and then I can talk to the referral person and work to convert them into a new lead. So basically, they'll give me the name of someone, I'll put them at the top of my lead funnel, and then I'll work on building my relationship with them. So I want you to think of this as a funnel that's continuing throughout your career. You're always going to have new people. You're always going to have people moving in and out of a relationship or in and out of the cycle of buying or selling homes. And so you want to be able to keep building that throughout your career. Okay. So lead generation never ends. It's best when you time block it, and we're going to talk about time blocking, and it determines the size of your business. So your database, at the end of the day, you can call it a database or a data bank. Basically, this is going to be your business. This is the most important thing in your business, is having constant flow of lead generation, nurturing those leads, and then developing them into business and referrals. So every contact in your database eventually will transact with you, or they will send you referrals. And then you can grade your database based on that. Does that make sense? What are some ahas around this section? Let's hear some ahas. Who wants to share aha from this part of this? Yep, Erica Williams. Oh, somebody else is off mute.
Eric can go, she can go first because she raised her hand. Sorry.
Okay, Erica, go ahead. Oh, maybe it was an accidental raise. All right, Wilbert, you want to go ahead?
Sure. So I think for me, just understanding that your the size your database, the size of your database can determine really how how big your business really is. Um, and I guess when you put it into the simplest form, um, you that's really what it is. Your database is your business.
Yeah. Your database is your business, no matter what you're doing, by the way. It's not just in real estate. In any business that you have, your database is your business. So it's transferable to any different business that you have. Kathia Geller, you have your hand raised.
Yes. So my question wasn't so much an aha as it's just a question. I put it in the chat, but it got buried by other messages. What is your in your experience, what's a good response to when you reach out to people to let them know that you have started in real estate and their response is, congratulations, great. I know. And then they list the top, I mean, all the agencies in town, and they have friends in all of these agencies, and you are now joining that long list. So when they think of who do I refer someone to, I just basically said, well, I'm happy to and honored to stand in that line whenever you want to, refer someone to me. But is there a better way to approach that? Because so many people are in this business.
Right, right.
Anyone
Well,
you contact is going to have that response.
yeah, and so what you can say is, can I be your number two? If I'm not, can I be your number two, and can I earn the right to eventually be your number one, right? So you just want to earn the right to be on the list, and then just be consistent, because a lot of other agents, just because there's a lot of other agents out there, it doesn't mean that they're staying in contact. It doesn't mean that they're following up. Most agents aren't necessarily calling their database and staying in touch. And so that's one way that you can outshine. And you can also outshine by providing value. So I think you just work on building that relationship and moving up the list. And at the same time, maybe there's other people in your phone that don't have a number one agent, and you focus on them more. Right.
Thank you.
But still be available for the one, but maybe focus on the others that don't have an agent yet.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah. Yes, Humberto, you're on
Katia,
mute.
do not underestimate the value of a good conversation. A little over a year ago, I went to get the lockbox out of a house. The person that bought the house bought it from another agent. So we were the listing firm. He was very, very upset. And I said, hey, since you're already upset, it's not like I'm going to piss you off anymore. Why don't you just get my number? And if there's anything you need, believe me, I can help you. And he called me. He said, okay, show me how do I fix these problems in this house. He wasn't happy at all. And I said, okay, this is how you fix them. 2 days later, he called me back. A year and a half later, he got me 3 referrals. I already showed him how to do a sub-2 on his own. So now he owns 3 properties by himself. He's a good friend of mine, 3 referrals. The second referral that he gave me got me 2 more referrals. All of that happened within a year and a half. So just be sincere, be yourself, and if you can offer help, if you can help, offer help. And if you cannot, just say, no, I can help you with that, because then they value that also very much. If I don't know something, I'll be the first person to say, hey, I don't know how to do that.
Thank
That's
you.
it.
That's very
Yeah,
valuable.
that's an awesome response and so true because you can never underestimate. Don't compare yourself to other people. Just be you, be the best version of you, and then that will lead to more business and success. So just be the best version of yourself and come from contribution. See how you can help others, and it'll come back tenfold. So I love that example. Thank you for sharing. Tim, I see your hands raised.
Yeah, my aha is that I am in another agent's funnel. That's an aha, and that's how big reason I ended up here.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
because you never know, right?
yeah.
Which is great. It's you just got to look at the different opportunities out there and just be you and be the best version of you. So now we're going to talk about your sphere of influence. So moving into this section. So, here's some different pictures to kind of show you your sphere of influence is anyone that you can influence in your life or anyone who influences you. So they can be close relationships like your close friends, family, or more distant connections like your child's friend's parents, or a former coworker, a neighbor. Everyone has a life before real estate. So, it's anyone that you knew before you got into real estate is part of your sphere of influence. Basically, anyone that you know and that knows you is somebody that you can get in contact with and you can work to deepen the relationship and move them through your database. And so it's just following up, staying in touch with people, and creating relationships more than anything. So you could do that volunteering, you can do that, at school. There's a lot of different ways to meet people and connect. So immediate family, friends, relatives, neighbors, past coworkers, hobbies, sports group, teachers, there's all kinds of people and real estate agents. Don't underestimate getting it in a relationship with agents from other offices because you never know. At some point, they might decide to change offices and then they could end up in your profit share. So, there might be an agent that it might be a great agent that you might do a deal with. So it's important to have those relationships with a lot of different people. And don't forget all of your allied resources too, your lenders. So one thing that I do is I tell my lenders and my title company, I say to them, I know that you know a lot of realtors, and I don't expect you to give me all of your business, but if I call you once a quarter, can you think of one lead or one person that I can help? So I set the expectation with all of my vendors that I'm going to ask them at least 4 times a year for a referral. And and expect to get one, right? And so that's a way to set expectations because you're sending them a lot of business. So you want to make sure they're also helping to build your business and not just taking. So you want to work on getting in relationships with people where you can have mutually beneficial relationships. So that's another way to look at it as well, is who are you helping to determine wealth for and who's helping to determine wealth for you. Next, we're going to talk about categorizing your sphere of influence. And I want you to think about all of these categories, right? And I want you to take a few minutes to write down, just I'm going to give you everybody 1 minute just to write down, just on a piece of paper, write down, the top 10 people that come to mind that you want to try to connect with today. So just write down the top 10 people that come to mind first that are in your sphere of influence. They don't necessarily need to buy or sell a house, but I want you to just think about those people, come up with your top 10. Okay, and it could be somebody that you just met too. Think about that. And I want you to think about all those people that you've written down now, right? So once you've written down 10 people, just put a little thumbs up in your reaction so I can see that you've written down 10 people. Just put a little thumbs up. We're writing down 10 people. And if you do this every day, right? If you come up with 10 people every day that you want to reach out to, you can build your database significantly. And it could just be 10 people that you want to try to get all of their contact information. Or it could just be 10 people that you want to shoot a text to say, hey, I was thinking about you today and wanted to see how you're doing. So just different ways that you can start to build your sphere of influence day by day. All right, I see a lot of thumbs up. Thank you, Tara, for sharing your thumbs up without the thumbs up. That's great. You guys keep going through that. So I want you to think about, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. That's one of the bold laws. And so if you thought about, imagine if you did this exercise every day and just came up with 10 people that you wanted to try to reconnect with, or if you did, just started with a letter of the alphabet, start with A and then do B the next day and then C. And you could get through your entire phone and start to build that database and be very purposeful around that, right? Is how can you become more purposeful around building your database. So one of the things I did to help me when I was doing this, when I first got in the business, is I would go through my phone and contact at least 10 people, like just go in order down my phone. And then the other thing I would do is look at my social media. I would go to Facebook and I would look at whose birthdays it was, right? So every day you have a certain number of birthdays. I would reach out to everyone whose birthday it was and I would wish them a happy birthday. I would call them to wish them a happy birthday and start a conversation and see if I could get the information to have, their phone number and email and just reconnect and make sure I had them tagged in my database. I would kind of look through their Facebook, see where they were working, see what information I could get and add it to my database. And in a year's time, I had updated everyone that was in my Facebook and they were all in my database in Command and they had as much information as I could get from it because you can get a lot of information from Facebook. And you could do Instagram or whatever social media you have. But if you create a system around it, and the reason I say Facebook, it's easy to do. I would also do the call groups in Facebook. So I would have everybody set up so I could go back and look at them and be able to communicate. Oh, somebody's off
You
mute.
never do this.
Oh, whoops, got it. So I would be able to communicate with them, right? And it was a systematic way to get through my database. And as I met new people and got new people each year, I would keep doing that and make sure that all of my contacts were updated, and I would make sure that in command I had the birthday in there. So that's an easy way to do it, because generally you're not going to have hundreds of people that have birthdays on the same day. So if you do that each day, you can work on cleaning up your database. Does that make sense? Eve, I see you raise your hand.
Yeah, so I have a quick question. So how do you handle like when you have everybody on your database and you send out like certain things like um what is it? Those newsletters and things like that, and
Mhm.
like twilio messages, and then you get some of them telling me saying take me off your list. So do you still like in communication with them? Because sometimes it kind of feel like, okay, like how should I deal with those folks that wants to be taken off my list and that doesn't want to receive any more certain things that I may send out in my command?
Right. So it might be a way to call them, a reason to call them and say, I see that you unsubscribed. Is there anything that I could send you that would be of value? Or you could connect with them on social media and correspond with them that way. So there's other ways to look at communicating. Generally, if they're unsubscribing, it's because they're not finding value in what you're sending. And so, it might be just, hey, depends on how close you are to them. Maybe you invite them for a cup of coffee and talk to them and find out more about what would be of value to them. And, maybe it's instead of a weekly email, maybe it's, getting an update on the home value once a year, or, different things. So there might be different ways that you can communicate with them. So I think it's just about getting in contact and finding out how you can stay in touch with them. What would be of value? Right. Some people just don't like to have emails. They get too many emails. So they might be okay with a text message, or they might be okay with an occasional phone call or something like that. Okay. So we're going to move on in the interest of time. So we're going to go to expanding your SOI, so expanding your sphere of influence. And so with that, we're going to look at adding more personal information to your sphere of influence contacts. So this is kind of like what I was talking about with your birthdays. That's a great way to be able to be in touch with them, be able to watch them on social media, just ask them questions as well, come from curiosity. So you want to, the more information you have in the database, the better value you can provide. So for instance, let's say I know that one of my clients just had a baby, right? So because they had a baby, they might be looking to move up at some point. I would generally send them a congratulations card for having the baby, and then I would put the baby's birthday in my database. So that way I can keep track as the child is growing up. You can send letters, you can send a birthday card for the child. Pets, I keep track of the people's pets' names, and when they move, I give them new dog tags for the pets with the new address. So all of that information comes in handy. Like one of the things, my database is extremely detailed. So I have everybody tagged in my database. I have them tagged as to how I met them, where they came from, if they were a referral from another agent, if they're in the military. So when it's like here in Florida, SeaWorld does a day for military vets where they can get in for free. So I have my vets tagged, so then I can go in and send them a text message saying, "Hey, not sure if you knew this, but this is the free day for vets at SeaWorld is coming up. If you want to get your complimentary tickets." So it's adding value and it's very targeted. If I know that somebody is a huge Miami Hurricanes fan, I'm going to, if I see that the Hurricanes win a football game, I'm going to send them a text message saying, "Congratulations, your team won." Different things like that are ways to stay in touch with people and to show that you care and that you notice. So it's figuring out what's important to your clients and knowing, really getting to know them well. So if you go out for a coffee, so what I did too is I have people in my database ranked. I have my top 50, my top 100, right? And I have my top 100 agents. And so with my top 50, those are people that are my champions. If you walk into a room and you say real estate, they're going to say, "Jessica Estrada is your girl for Orlando. She's the person you need to go to. She's going to help you." And so those people, I'm looking to get in front of them once a month. I'm either going to have a coffee with them, or I'm going to talk to them on the phone. I'm going to be in front of them somehow at least once a month. And I'm usually going to have some kind of a face-to-face with them at least once a year. So once a week, I have somebody from my top 50 that I'm going to lunch with or dinner with, right? And then I have my top 100. Those are people that I'm going to call on once a quarter and be in touch with them. And those are people that they know me, like me, trust me, they're also sending me referrals. And the same thing with my top 100 agents. I'm looking to connect with them when we're at family reunion or when we're at mega camp. I'm looking to schedule, to have a coffee with them or have a drink or meet up with them at some point. So I'm very intentional about those top people that are my referral people. And people are moving in and out of that all the time. So somebody might be in my top 50 one year because they're in the process of buying and they're referring me all kinds of people. And then maybe the next year they're not as active, right? So I have people moving in and out of those groups, but I'm very intentional about who I'm spending a lot of time with and who I'm getting to know into a deep relationship so I can keep adding value to them. Right. And you want to strengthen your casual connection. So if you're at a soccer game, a kids event, and you meet someone, that you hit it off with, or you think they might be a good influencer, then you might start to get into a deeper relationship with. So I sponsored a softball team, about 10 years ago. One of the players was a guy named Alex, and Alex and I got to be friends over the years. He is now my number one roofer. I send all my clients that need roofs to him. He drives around anytime he sees a for sale by owner sign, he sends me a picture of it. He bought and sold his house with me. He's become, from being somebody that was on this softball team that I sponsored, to being one of my closest friends. Right. So it's taking a casual relationship and strengthening it and making it a very good, mutually beneficial relationship, if that makes sense. So that's just, another way to look at it is how can you work at being personalized, yet having a system around your contacts. And then expanding your sphere of influence. So join groups that you can connect with other people that have similar interests and values. So you can be intentional as well. If you like to do something, join a group so you can meet other people that like to do the same thing or have the same heart, so to speak, in that whatever it is that you're doing. So one of the things I do with my clients is I do 4 volunteer events a year. So we'll either volunteer at Second Harvest Food Bank, or we'll do Toys for Tots, or Give Kids the World. So basically, I set up a way for my clients to be able to join me and volunteer because I like to give back to my community. And a lot of them enjoy to do that, but don't know how to do it or how to set it up. So I just set it up, and it's kind of a free client event. And you get to hang out for 4 hours volunteering with your clients and deepening the relationship. So look at different ways that you can connect with people and get into a deeper relationship. And then, of course, referrals. Referrals from your clients are great, and referrals from agents. So connecting with agents from around the country is a great way to do this as well, so that you can do referrals in and out of your state. The other thing I did that was very intentional is I thought about all of my friends from college, where they ended up, what cities they were in, and then I looked for agents in those cities that I could become friends with and do referrals, so that whenever my friends from college that moved to, let's say, Atlanta or Ohio or Tennessee, when they were ready to move, I already had an agent to connect them with. So I've already intentionally built relationships in places where I already have friends living, or contacts as well. So I'm building a business. So this is gather leads from your database, and then you're looking to build your business around people. These are just some conversations you could say. So I'm building my business on people I know and the people they know. Do you know of anyone from family, friends, work, or your neighborhood or group you belong to who's thinking of buying, selling a home, or investing in real estate? I'd be pleased to be a resource for them. So that's one way that you could, one conversation you could have. I personally like just saying, who do you know that that might be looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? If you hear somebody with a real estate need, will you keep me in mind and let me know right away? And so I tweak that and say, would you start a group text? If you hear of somebody that's looking to make a move, would you start a group text that I could, that way I make sure to get back to them. And, because a lot of times people will lose a piece of paper or a card. So if you don't mind doing a group text introduction, that way I can make sure they're taken care of right away. All right. So let's talk about some ahas from that section before we do the survey. So what are some ahas that you guys have from those two sections? Raise your hand, share some ahas. These slides are in the Ignite guide, and you guys are going to get a copy of the recording, and you're going to get a summary email at the end of the week. Desiree, what's an aha? Come off mute.
Well, truthfully, listening, you just gave me a really good idea that I was really going around with what I could do to kind of do like an activity with my clients to get more, how do you say, but more involved in the community with them. That volunteer work that you said, that's a very good idea, and I will be using that. Hopefully, I will, I'll be able to tell you some feedback soon to see how
Yeah.
that works.
Yeah, it's a great, and I just do it every quarter. So I just pick a day every quarter and I do some kind of volunteer activity and I invite my database to join me. And I change the dates and times because, people have different schedules and then just try to get people, involved. So it's great. So I
I
love,
love that. Thank you so much.
you're welcome. Lindsay, I see your hands raised.
Hi, yes. I guess it is a aha for me. You really gave a lot of great points as to like being so detailed, and I never really thought about that. I think the Facebook way and just noticing their football team that they like and just making all those different channels to start conversations. I think that's always been my challenge of like, okay, like what do I say? And then once I do start talking to you, how do we keep this going? And when you were saying when you detail your database to the point where it's like, okay, throughout the year, I can basically bring up a random conversation about anything just to check on you about when football season's going. Oh, how's your dog? And I see that there's this event, and I really do appreciate that. And it makes lead generation seem a lot less complicated when all you have to do is just pay attention to people.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. It's funny because I worked at I opened a Ritz-Carlton in 2001. And Ritz-Carlton, one of the things they do is they recognize guest preferences because they like to anticipate needs and surprise and delight. And so, I look for ways that I can surprise and delight. Like another example is I did a hurricane seminar because we're in Florida. So I did a hurricane seminar for all my first-time home buyers or people that had just moved to Florida. And so I had, this event, and during the event, part of my registration was for them to give me, what their favorite hurricane snack was, right? This was in June. And so then I put it in my database, and then we had a hurricane in September. And so when the hurricane was coming, Florida just, I don't know if any of you have experienced hurricanes, but, everything kind of shuts down and people are crazy trying to buy stuff, and hunker down for the hurricane. And so as soon as we had the name storm and it was coming our way, I went on Instacart and ordered the hurricane snacks for everybody that had put in hurricane snacks and had them delivered to their house. Right. And so talk about surprise and delight, as they're waiting for the hurricane, they're getting these random packages from Instacart that have, whatever their preferred hurricane snack was. I think it cost me maybe $150, but it had huge impact on the people that, that got that. Right. And so that's just a way, if you create a system around it and you find a way to be able to connect with your database and add value, right? Like I have a whole hurricane smart plan. When a hurricane's coming, I have an email that goes out with the storm that's coming and all the links and everything. And then I have one that's after the storm, things to do, just basic things like that. But it's just different ways to add value to your database. So, Eve, yes, I see you have your hand up.
Yeah, so to go back to the referral, so to me, it's like really, really important for the relationship that you build with your client because this weekend one of my clients had invited me to her 1-year-old daughter. They're from Nigeria, and they had this huge party from 1 to about 10. And I stayed to as long as I could. But it was amazing how when I was in the room, so many people that I have helped. It took from one person. I mean, I didn't help sisters, friends, and it was just so amazing. And I even participated in some, some things like, going coming up to the front. And I think one of the the client that invited me, her brother came up to me and he was like, "Oh, you Miss Evelyn. I want to become an agent." So even at the table I was sitting, they didn't even know who I was. Me talking to them later on, it became that I was a real estate agent. I'm like, "Yes, I'm the family realtor." And when I was counting down like how many people I didn't help within that 1 year, it was like maybe 10 people. So, and then one of them, she was there, she's pregnant. She wants me to throw her a baby shower. Like, yes, I'm going to do it because that just like being in that community. So when you do really do good, I mean, I am a dual career, but it's amazing how I get so many referral because just being yourself, just like you mentioned, being authentic and just being true to yourself. And when people see that, your business wouldn't flourish. So I was just glad to be in the room, and I had a few cars, but I didn't want to go in there as a realtor. It was just, it was more natural. And the people that I spoke to, and I was able to hand them my car. And one of them, I said, "Hey, I have a listing. I'm doing an open house tomorrow." And she said, "Okay, I'm going to come." We exchanged phone numbers and stuff like that. So make it natural. Don't always make it business, but be there and just be there for them, not always going in to be a realtor. But when that subject does come up, trust me, they're going to put you out there, So I was just blessed to be in that room over the weekend, to have helped so many people in that one party that I went to. So I just want to share that.
That's awesome. I love that. That's great. Thanks for sharing. And it's true, because that you're really getting ingrained in that community and you're becoming the realtor of choice. And when clients invite you to their parties like that, it's so rewarding because it shows that you've done a great job, that they're inviting you as a friend. Like I had a client that invited me to her 70th birthday party, right? And so it's great when you can show up and they introduce you as their realtor, and it's just a way to get into the community. So I love that. Humberto, I see your hand is raised.
Yes, I have two questions. The name of the course is Ignite 4, correct?
Ignite, yes.
Well,
This
there's
is
multiple Ignites.
there.
That's
Well,
what I.
there's different segments of Ignite, right? So you go through a different process. So Ignite covers a lot of different areas. So
Okay.
right now we're doing section 5 of Ignite. So it goes
Generate
through.
leads.
Yeah, so they're
Okay.
generate leads. Yeah, that's the one we're
And
on.
then your name is not on the list. There is another Jessica, but not you,
Oh yeah,
unless
I'm
you.
I'm Jessica Estrada, and so actually I'm going to put it in the chat right now for you guys. And then actually I was going to ask you, which leads into if you could do me a favor and scan the QR code here to do the survey. So my name is Jessica Estrada, and I am. This would be a virtual event, so we're doing it virtual, and then it's
There
Ignite.
is a Jessica Riddle.
Yes, so you've got to go all the way down to the drop to instructor not in drop down. So you've got to scroll. I'm working on becoming KWU approved, so I need the surveys to be fully approved. So if you go to instructor not in drop down and then just type in Jessica Estrada, whoops.
Got it.
And then I was trying to type it in the chat, but it didn't. Here we go. Jessica Estrada, and then put your region in, but it's a virtual event. And then, yeah, if you could fill out the survey, that would be great. And then we're going to do an activity, and I want to do a screenshot of everybody as well. I'm going to put my information in the chat as well. If you guys have any questions or anything after the class or need anything, I'm going to put my contact information as well. So you guys have it. Com. So that's my cell phone and that's my email address. So if I can help you with anything, happy to help out with anything as long as it doesn't tie into your state regulations that are different than ours. Cherry, I see you have a question. Your hand's up.
You covered it when you told us how to find you in the drop down.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, is it?
Yep, we got you. I got you in there now.
You found me? Okay.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah, so it's Jessica Estrada, and that's my phone number. So, yeah, so what we're going to do is have everybody go ahead and turn your cameras on. I want to try to screenshot so we can post on social media as well. So if you guys look up, and we will try to screenshot. I'm going to try to do some screenshots and put them in the chat. See if this works. We've got a lot of people on the call, which is awesome. Whoops. Meanwhile, and take note of, as you're looking on here, and something that you guys might do, when you're doing Zooms as well, especially like this around the country, is change your name to put your name and where you're from. So that way people can see where you're from. And then be able to send referrals or know if they're looking for someone in a certain area. So I always try to put Jessica Estrada, Orlando, Florida, although I notice it's not on there right now. But if you put that on there when you're doing Zooms, then you help people know where you're at as well. Just a little trick, little side note. All right.
Just a minute.
I think I got a lot of the pictures. All right. So Connie, I see you have a hand raised.
Yes, I just wanted to see if you could go back to the survey QR code.
Oh, yes. Yep. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Whoops. Oh, sorry. I did it again. Stacy, I see you have your hand raised.
Hi, yes. I can't seem to find you in the drop down. This
Yep,
is Ignite 5, right?
Yes. So just slide down to instructor, not in drop down, and then you'll write in Jessica Estrada.
Okay, so you're not in
I'm
there.
not in the drop down.
Okay.
Yes. So just go all the way to the bottom and then
Okay.
Jessica Estrada.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
I probably
I
should have
apologize
filled
if you said that earlier.
No, I probably should have filled it out on the slide. Sorry. I should have edited. I don't know if I can, I don't think I can edit it.
I'm sorry, I don't know how to raise my hand because I'm using my Android.
That's
But my
okay.
name is Patricia Skinner, and I am also trying to find. So, are we on keeping up with the leads, or where are we? Because I followed you all day, all evening, but I'm not apparently getting the QR code to come up. So I have to manually go to the browser, type in the kwueval.com. So is it
Okay,
keep
yep.
every lead, or what are we? It's keep
We're
every lead,
on,
right?
this is generate leads. So it's Ignite 5, generate leads is
So
the class.
I don't have the right. So
should,
I don't have that on my drop down either. So it says not in drop down, not listed. So hit instructor or
so on instructor, you're going to slide all the way. So first for the class is Ignite. It's Ignite 5. So that should show as one of the classes. And then on the instructor, you're going to say, go all the way down to the very bottom. It's going to say instructor not in drop down. And then once you click that, it gives you another little box where you can type in my name.
Can you spell your last name for me, please?
Yep, it's Estrada. Estrada.
Thank you.
Yep. Oh, sorry. I lost my.
Thank you. I'll mute myself.
You're good. Stacy, I see you have a question if you want to come off mute. Whoops.
I'm sorry. I needed to lower my hand. Sorry about that.
Okay, no worries. Sorry, I just had to stop my share for a second. Wendy, I see you have a question.
Yes, I do want to ask before I forget. With Halloween around the corner, we have a really popular neighborhood where everyone comes to my house just because we have like a lot of the displays and I have a lot of toddlers. So we do get like a little over 100 kids, parents
Oh, that's
coming to
awesome.
my house. So how do I take advantage of that? Like I bought like some, little flashlights to give out to like, hand out to like the parent, a treat for kids and parents, but how would I capture those leads? Because, the kids are here, they're getting spooked, they're going through it. So it's like there's no really a lot of time to conversate without losing a kid in the dark. So is it just to kind of give my contact info and hope they reach out?
Yeah, I think what you would do, so I've done it at several listings as well, where I've done trick or treat and just handed out candy with my card attached to it. Or one thing that I did one year is I did I did magnets that I put in the trick or treat bags that had the school schedule or the football schedule. So you can look at different things like that where they might keep it and refer back to it if they needed you. So I think in that case, it's hard, with Halloween, but I would just try to, maybe hand out something that, could show that you're a realtor in the community.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Laura Keys, I see you have a hand raised.
Yes, hi, how are you? I did the survey and I just realized that there was a Jessica in there, and I don't know why I was thinking that was you, and I clicked on that instead. So do I need to go do a new one?
Yeah, you could probably do a new one and then
Okay.
just do, yeah, if you don't mind. And
So if
it's,
there's a double, I just wanted you to be aware of that because I
yeah,
don't mind doing it again.
thank you. I appreciate it. No,
All
it's
right,
just,
thank you.
you'll just do Jessica Estrada and I'm putting my information back in the chat.
Yes, I saw your name
Yeah.
up on the screen. So I
Okay.
got it.
Thank you. I
You.
appreciate it. I appreciate
Uh-huh.
it. All right, Wendy Portillo, I see you have your hand raised. Wendy? Oh, maybe that's okay. So we'll move on to the next. KW Cares, I just like to mention KW Cares. It's an organization with Keller Williams that helps in emergencies. They help to support agents and KW families during times of hardship due to sudden emergencies. So, I just want you guys to be aware of it as well. And then KW Next Gen, I'm actually on the board of directors of KW Next Gen. And if you're looking for a reason to reach out to your sphere, this is a great, great thing that you can do. So with KW Next Gen, you may not be aware, but we do classes to equip the next generation of leaders and entrepreneurs. So you can call your database and you can invite them to a class. You can go on to kwnextgen.org and see when there's a class near you. We have instructors all over the country. And we also have online classes. If a young adult under 30, so high school senior to 30 years old, they can take the class, then they can apply for a scholarship. They can get a coaching scholarship and be coached by MAPS coaches. It doesn't have to be in real estate, it can be in anything. And they can also be able to get a $5,000 scholarship towards anything educational. So this is a great way to add value to your database, to be able to call and say, hey, I know your son is getting ready to go to college. We have this great class. Would love to invite him to come to the class. It's happening on X date. It's totally free. And after he attends the class, he has the opportunity to apply for a scholarship. So it's a great value add. It's a great way to be able to also offer value to your clients. So just a quick plug for KW Next Gen. And it doesn't have to be educational. So what are some ahas that you got overall from this evening? So far, who wants to share?
I like how you said we can rank our database.
Yeah. Yeah, ranking your database is great, and people can move in and out, depending on their situation. But you want to have a small group of core advocates that are always going to be supporting you and helping you get more business.
Yeah, including other agents, adding other agents in the database for referrals.
Right, exactly. 30% of my business comes from agent referrals. So, Gabby, we'll go ahead and
Hi, Jessica. I really appreciate the time here. I learned a lot in this 2 hour. The aha moment I had was I'm a dual career too, and for me, it was more like, oh, I don't know if I can do this or not, but the examples that you gave and the information that you gave throughout the whole training, the one that stuck out was the monthly report for like people that are homeowners, just that additional information because people is always talking about, oh, is the rates going to go up? Interest rates going to go up? How is the housing market? How is the neighborhood? Is it going to be growing? Blah, 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 you know? And so having that resource and providing that information to anybody that you know, it doesn't like push you to say like, I'm a realtor, hey, you know, come work with me or whatever, but just added that extra like you know, information for them to use and then because you add that value to it, they're gonna think, oh my gosh, X knows a lot about all this stuff about the market. Maybe I should, you know, pick her or his brain to see if, you know, they can help us or somebody else. So that was a big aha moment for me because I really like I think it was Karen. She was saying like, what about all those people that you don't even talk to over 10 years? And then you just happen to show up and say, hey, I'm a realtor, blah, blah, blah. What would they think? But just to add this, hey, you know, just a very nonchalant conversation with the person talking about the housing market, the economy, and hey, you know what? I have this additional information to give you. Oh, do you want it? You know, just you know, lending that hand. And that was an aha moment. I never, I don't know. I've worked with other realtors. They didn't have that resource. So that was really great. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. And Command makes it really easy. You just have to have their address and you can send up the monthly neighborhood update. Everyone in your database should be on that monthly neighborhood update. So even if they're not, even if they don't own a house, you could put it for the house that they're renting if you have their address. Or you could also ask them if you were to buy, where would you buy? And then set up a
Right.
neighborhood search for that area. So it's a very easy way to reach out. And then through Command, when they click on it, you can see that they've clicked on it and they've been recently active. So then that can be your cue to call them.
Oh,
So it's
awesome.
an easy system to set up. So
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
you're welcome. We still have a few minutes. I'm going to go through some lead generation best practices and then I'll come back. I see Eve, you've got your hand raised. I'll come back to you in just a moment. I just want to make sure to cover the rest before our time is up. So some best practices for lead generation is to track your lead sources. This is really important. I had a referral that I got from an agent. It was a referral for a client that was from Germany. I tagged the person in my database and that they came from Hannah. And then I stayed in touch with the client. It took me 3 years till the client actually sold their home, but I had them tagged for Hannah. And so when I did sell their home, I sent Hannah a referral check and she was blown away that I sent her a referral check 3 years later. And I was able to do that just because I track where my lead source is. So I always know where they're coming from. And if it's a lead from one of my sphere, I always let them know during the transaction, hey, thank you so much for referring Jane. You know, just wanted to let you know we just started looking at houses. Then I call them back and say, hey, thank you so much for referring Jane. We just got under contract. And then when they close, I call them again and say, thank you so much for referring Jane. We just closed on their house today. I really appreciate you trusting me. And so if you're always going back to the referral, there's a great book called Seven Levels of Communication. And it talks about this, just really being good about tracking where your business is coming from. The other reason to track your lead sources is that way you know where to spend money, right? If your leads are coming from your database, you know that's where you want to spend more money. Or if you're doing open houses and you know that 20% of your business is coming from open houses, then you can put more money into that. Or if you know 70% is coming from farming, or just knowing where your lead sources are, then you can track your revenue and you can track your spend and see if you're spending money in the right places. So it's really important to be detailed and track your lead sources. Also, make sure you're doing an audit of your lead sources to see if you're getting a return on investment. if you're spending $1,000 a month on purchase leads, let's say through Zillow, but you're not closing that amount, if you're not making at least 3 to 10 times the whatever you're spending, then you need to rethink that and maybe change what you're doing. Make sure you have your database diversified, that you have people in different areas and different, that you know where they're from, that you have people in different areas, so that you can be able to expand your reach and also be consistent. Consistency is the most important thing. I had leads. I had a lead. It was a lead that I had gotten. It was a paid lead. I called them to set up a listing appointment. They ended up not being there. This was when I first started. I forgot to, I didn't think to pre-qualify the appointment, make sure they were going to be there. Anyway, they weren't there. Afterwards, they apologized. I tried to reset the appointment, but they weren't ready. For 3 years, I called them, left a voicemail, and said, "Hey, I know it's not time. You're not ready to move yet, but if there's anything I can do for you, please let me know." And I just kept following up and following up and following up. 3 years later, one day they called me and they said, "Hey, we're ready to list the house. Please come over. You've been so consistent. You've been calling us for 3 years. We wouldn't think of listing with anyone else." So just be consistent in your lead generation and remember, don't take it personally. Sometimes they don't pick up the phone. It's not because they don't like you, it's because they don't need you right then. And when they do need you, they're going to answer. I had another client that I had been reaching out to them since they closed. They never answered the phone. One day they answered and they said, "Hey, we were just talking about you. We need to sell our house. Can you come over?" So just be consistent with whatever it is that you're doing. And then you want to time block your lead generation time. So you want to basically go in your calendar and set aside at least whatever you can do, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, time block it, be ready to do it, practice your conversation, and have your call list ready to go. So you're prepared. Then you want to take action and have your conversations. And then you want to make sure you update your database and you follow up. And you want to try to create the habit around lead generation. It's really important. If you can do it at the same time every day and create a habit around it, you'll be more successful. So every day from 9 to 11, I hop on a Zoom with a group from my office and we all have ourselves on mute, videos on, and we're making calls from 9 to 11 every day. So set that up so you can be consistent with your lead generation. And then you want to build a bunker. So you want to make sure that you have set that time and that you let everybody know that you're going to be doing lead generation. You store provisions, so you have your water and snacks. You want to turn off your notifications and you want to make sure everybody knows that you're going to be lead generating during this time so that they don't contact you. My assistant knows that from 9 to 11, I'm lead generating, so she doesn't contact me until after 11 a.m., right? So you want to make sure you do that and set yourself up for success. And that's pretty much it for that section. What are some ahas that you guys got or some questions that you have? Lindsay King, raise your hand.
So I just wanted to share what really just came to mind when you were saying, like, it took it back to the beginning when it's saying protect that time. I heard a saying once about like when people keep saying they don't have time for something, and it's like if you just set the time aside for it, it somehow makes time. And when you protect it, so I'm now recognizing the fears and things that I've had with lead generation, and it's been me in my own way. The time that I spend already on social media can be that time that I make for lead generation. So it's just, to me, I think it's a perspective thing. This really was something that I was eye-opening for me as well.
Yeah. It's just setting that time and being consistent with it, right? And really protecting that time block so that you can get the most done. Because when you look at if you're multitasking or if you get interrupted, you have to refocus and then it takes more time. So if you can go in and sit down, I find that if I can sit down, I know who I'm going to call and I spend, 2 hours just making those calls or sending the text messages, I'm more successful. And so it's just about creating that habit and basically looking at your database as something that you need to feed daily. So you need to be adding new leads. You need to be reconnecting with the leads that you already have, and you need to be refining the information. So you're always data mining, trying to find out more information that you can add to your database so you can catalog your people and know what's important to them and how you can connect with them. So I think that's a great share. Thank you for sharing. I did notice somebody in the chat was saying they wish they could figure out how to screenshot all of the contacts. You can make that little the chat box bigger and make it take up the whole screen, and then you can do screenshots depending on which type of computer you're on. You can screenshot it so you can capture information for referrals. So you can make that bigger and screenshot
I
it.
was like,
Yes, Joe Rao, I think it is. I'm not sure. I might have butchered your name. I'm sorry.
Yes, yeah, you got it right. Yeah, I think for me, the aha moment was it's funny. Just the other day, I was whining to my husband that, I've been reaching out to all the leads I got through the open house, and it's only been like 2 days or 3 days. And I was like, they don't respond. I don't think they're interested. And just hearing you say that, how you were consistently following up with your leads for 3 years, gave me hope that maybe they will respond to my messages too. So I thank you so much for sharing that experience with the group here.
Yeah, I think sometimes you have to think about it as you are you're watering your plant, right? And the seeds might not come until later. And it's just about calling and saying, "Hey, I'm thinking about you," because they know they might not call you back, they may not respond. I mean, I can't even tell you. I have so many examples of this where I've called and they haven't answered, and then or I've invited them to my events and they're like, "I'm sorry I didn't come to any of your events, but thank you for inviting me." And you're our go-to realtor, right? They do business with me, but they might not respond all the time because they don't need me. They have their own lives, and I might not be a part of their inner circle. And so don't take it personally. Just keep calling and keep texting, and until they tell you to stop, or you just keep doing it. Anybody else have an aha? Whoops.
I think my aha moment is when you say write down the 10 names and like who's on the list to call. And I think one came to mind, one of my client, she bought a house through me about a couple of years ago. And I saw a Facebook post. And it's a lady that I guess passed away that looked just like her. That could be her mother. And I keep saying, I have to call her. So when you say write down those 10 names, she popped right on my mind. I said, okay, she was like the first name on my list to give her a call just to check up on her and say, hey, I don't know who this is, but she looks just like you. And if it's that's your mom that she lost, I'm sorry, and just give her some condolences. And then the other 10 names too, is some other folks that I met throughout this week that I'm going to be calling as well. So just want to say thank you, because sometimes we get really really busy and we can think about something and it just slips our mind. So writing stuff down for a reminder is a good thing to do.
Yeah, and I love that. It is. It's just trying to think of 10 people. So either sit down every morning and with your cup of coffee and think of 10 people you're going to contact today, or go through your phone and just start with the alphabet until you get all the way through your phone, right? And go through and make sure that you call everybody on your phone and you have them categorized. But if you chunk it down, it's easier to accomplish. If you look at, okay, what are 10 things that I can do today? Or what are 10 people that I'm going to make it a point to reach out to throughout today, whether it's via text or a call. It helps to chunk it down, and just think about that. If you did 10 a day times 5, that's 50 a week, right? Times 4, you're going to be at 200 a month, call it, right? And then if you do it times 12, you can see how easily it multiplies. So doing it that way is great. What else? Who else wants to share? So I want you guys, now we've just got a few minutes left. I want everybody to, of everything that we've covered in these 2 hours, I know it's been a lot of information. I feel like I've poured out like a fire hose on you. I want you to pick one thing that you're going to do. What's one action item that you're going to do leaving here tonight before your session tomorrow. So what's one thing that you're going to do? Throw it in the chat or raise your hand and share it with us. What's one thing that you're going to implement from what we've gone through today? Add contacts to database, cultivate and audit my leads, enter contacts into command. And command is great if you haven't been in there. I know you guys have tech tomorrow with command, but now with the AI feature, it gives you the summary of your conversations. It tells you who to call next. It tells you who's been active on command. So it's really important to use command because it's free. It's included in being with Keller Williams, and it's a great way to be able to work your database. Script practice with ChatGPT, contact at least 10 people, follow my calendar, follow up with birthdays. By the way, birthdays are so impactful. I always try to call people on their birthday because not everybody calls. Everybody posts on Facebook, but if you actually pick up the phone and call, it has a great impact. Or if you do a short little video and send it to them. Hey, Dane, I was just thinking about you. Happy birthday. I hope you're having a great day. Are you doing anything special? Or something like that where they have to re-engage, or sending a private message in Facebook instead of just posting on their wall and saying, happy birthday. Do you have any fun birthday plans for today? Starts a conversation. So looking at doing that. What are some other things? Eliana, oh, she's coming in. Who else? Give business card attached to bag of candies for Halloween. I love that. Something else, if you have an active listing, if any of you have an active listing, Halloween's a great time to hold your seller's house open for Halloween and hand out candy. It's very impactful for the neighborhood. So if you do have a listing, or if somebody in your office has a listing that you can hold open during Halloween, or stand out and hand out trick or treat, maybe not have them in the house, it's a great networking opportunity. Attend some events when you get an invite. Yes, if you get invited to any events, try to go, especially if they're from your sphere. If it's a barbecue, if it's a football party, if it's an anniversary, birthday, anything like that. What else? I'm not sure how you can save the chat. Sorry, I'm not that tech savvy. I don't know if anybody on here is tech savvy enough to tell us how to save the chat. I know you can make it bigger and screenshot it, but I'm not sure how you can save it.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
We talked about generating leads, but there are some cases where we are getting leads through our websites, right? So
Right.
is there any way or validation process that we can see that those leads are genuine before following up with them?
You could try different systems. I don't know if it's a national program or not. Here in Florida with our MLS, we have Forewarn. So in Forewarn, you can type in the phone number and it'll tell you if it's scam likely. You can also throw it into ChatGPT. I sometimes throw in a phone number, or email into ChatGPT to see if it can tell me. Sometimes there's certain numbers that are associated with fraud. So that might be another way. I usually will respond or try to call and see if I can reach the lead.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Quick question about the Halloween
Yes.
event at an open house. So I'm hosting an open house for another agent this weekend. So can I use that opportunity to make it more Halloweeny, and then have like candies to attract more people to come see the property?
Absolutely. You can do that. You can, do trick or treat, open house, or be creative with it. Absolutely. I've done mimosas at an open house before. I've done different things like that. So you can definitely do that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
That's a great idea. I'm going to use that.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about that.
Absolutely.
Patenting it.
Sometimes I do a Sunday mimosa open house and mimosas or something. So yes.
I have a $700,000 listing that's not moving because the market is shifting, but that's a great idea. So I just want to say thank you.
You're welcome. What other questions do you guys have? We have a couple more minutes. I want to be respectful of your time. Connie, I see your hand is raised.
Yes, I just wanted to say if you right click on the meeting chat area, just anywhere in the white area, and then it'll bring up some options and you just save as and you can save it to your computer.
Oh, thank you for that. That's awesome. See, I learned something new today. Thank you. All right. Anybody else? Laura Keys, I see your hand is raised.
Hi. So I have vacant land. It's a whole acre, and it's in a new subdivision. And I've had it on the MLS for about 23 days now. It has, private beach. It has a lot of amenities to go to it. And I was thinking about doing something since it's Halloween, possibly maybe like doing like, I don't want to say like Pat, do candy or nothing like that, but maybe have like barbecue sandwiches or something, out on the land with balloons just to attract attention to it because I'm a cook by profession. So I was wondering, would something like that be okay to do?
Yeah, you could do anything. I mean, I think if it's in a subdivision, I guess there might be an HOA you might have to check with, but otherwise, you could also do like a trunk or treat and have people decorate their trunks and do a trunk or treat, or you could do anything. I think if it's in a subdivision, I don't know what
Well,
state you're in, but you need to.
it's a new subdivision. There's not a lot of houses there. There are a few there, but they're building it up. And
Right.
so
Well,
I was just trying to attract attention more or less out there to that land. So
yeah, I would
somehow
just
food
check.
will attract.
Yeah, I would just check with whatever, if there is an HOA or the builder or the city or community to make sure there's no issues, and then you could do something there. Absolutely. You might not
Okay.
get a lot of traffic though if there's not a lot of people living
Well,
in.
it's a waterfront property, so I'm hoping that with it being waterfront, it would attract more.
Yeah, I would pursue that. Definitely.
All right, thank you so much.
Anyone else? It's
Yes.
7:59,
Yes.
so
So
we
quick.
got a
Yeah.
minute left. I'm happy to stay and answer any questions, but I want to thank you guys for your time. I appreciate you guys coming on and staying on, and hopefully this was helpful. Please send a reaction if it was helpful and you got something out of today's class. And if you guys have anybody in Orlando, Florida, please send them my way.
So one more question,
Yes.
Jessica. So when I do the open house, so don't let nobody in, or how am I going to promote like open house
It
to
just
the
depends.
student?
I would have a conversation with the seller and double check to see if the seller's comfortable doing an open house and having people
Well,
in.
it's a
Although,
vacant home.
okay, yeah. So I would just double check and make sure the seller's okay with that. And you could do that and have them come in. Although most people are going to be trick or treating, some might come in for curiosity, or some would be out. So maybe I would see if you could get another agent to be there with you, somebody that could be
Okay.
inside and somebody that could be outside handing out candy or something.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Well, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I hope you guys have a great evening. I'm excited to see where your careers go. There's over 200 people on here. Thank you so much for the surveys. And again, my information was in the chat. If I can ever be a resource or help you guys, I'm happy to do that. I love doing that, and wish you guys the best.
Awesome. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Any
Have a
last
great
minute
evening.
questions? Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.
Awesome class.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Jessica,
Thank
Jessica,
you.
when are you going to see when are you going to see Debbie again?
Debbie, I'm going to see her Saturday for sure. She's going to be modeling in my new $6.7 million listing. She's going to be in my video. So
Yeah.
I will
Awesome.
see her then for sure. But before that, I'll tell her you said hi. Jeff, where are you at?
So I'm at Keller Williams Dallas Preston Road, and she helped me sell my home in Orlando in Lake Nona, Eagle Creek there.
Okay.
Oh God, 2012. And I went on, had another career. She actually transacted several houses for all of our friends down there. So she's highly regarded amongst all of us. And I couldn't continue doing my career anymore, unfortunately, and I had to make a career change. And so I went and worked for an independent broker that's a friend of mine, and then KW kept coming up, and I finally decided. I texted her. I was like, "Hey, do I need to come to KW?" And she's like, "Absolutely." So yeah, she's fantastic, man. She is somebody to model after, man. She's a fantastic agent. So
She's great. She's one of my best friends. I'll definitely send her a message and tell her
that's
you were
awesome.
on Ignite. So
Yeah,
I
that's
appreciate
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
Well,
I
thank you.
I was driving for the last 2 hours while we were doing this because I was up in another town up in North Texas doing a little bit of research. So, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for being on. I appreciate it.
Take care, guys.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions? All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to close out the class and wish you guys the best and look forward to hopefully staying in touch. And if I can help you with anything, just let me know. Whoops.